Hey YouTube family, friends, rev it up. Mustang Fanatic Home Edition, where we spruce up our home. Um, so we finished installing all our lights, and I showed you that we got our lights working. And we went out and purchased a floodlight with motion sensor. It's raining out, so I'm just sitting here in the shed, and there's the motion sensor, and I have the the mount. It's a metal base mount. I got my 14 2-gauge wire, so I'm just gonna hook everything up here, so when I get a chance to hang it, all I have to do is just drill a hole up through the top where I'm gonna mount this at, and that the wire, the Romex wire, is gonna come through. There's the Romex right there, and if you remember, this is going to be the light switch is sitting right up here. I've got it all made out already, but I don't want to touch anything in that box because everything is live right now, so I'm not going to bother that box until I'm ready to patch into it, cut stuff off, and mount it up. But anyway, I can go ahead and get this base mounted and get it all wired up and ready. So how are we going to do that? We got this 1/2-inch Romex clamp that we're going to push. We're going to screw it in through here, and then it clamps down on that wire to keep the wire inside there. And then we're going to ground it to the ground here to here, and of course the Romex wire is going to ground into that as well. Then we'll hook the ground up, green to copper. We're going to hook the common wires up, white to white and black to black, from the back side of this mount. And like I said, screw this 1/2-inch Romex clamp in there. That's going to hold our wire down nice and tight. And then we got to drill a hole at least this size here, which is 3/8 to a 1/2 inch. So the hole's got to be just right to get it done. I think I have room. I can install it this way so that it'll be a smaller hole that's going to be drilled just for the wire, and I can just putty up a little something to keep it dry instead of coming through this way with the wire. So good morning YouTube. Yesterday was a rainy day, so we couldn't really do anything to put up our motion sensor floodlight on our shed. So we're out here this morning taking care of it, and this would be day 3 of doing our Mustang Fanatic Productions home improvement situation here. So what we did, we put the floodlight together in advance already. It's better to do it hanging down than up on the ladder trying to put all those wires and brackets together. So I did everything right there, and I took my measurements for the hole. Okay, so this is what we did. We took our measurements and we made sure we got that centered and flush, so the light would be flush on the vinyl siding, and we drilled a little bit bigger than a 3/8 hole in there, because there's not much difference between a 3/8 and a 1/2 inch. So that little 3/8 hole would be good enough to slide the Romex cable through, and we'll run the wire, and then we'll go down and get we're going to turn in a 3-gang box we can't use, and a 3/4 inch 90-degree thing that goes on a liquid line. I'll explain later, but let me get this line ringing. This is what we were going to use to run our cable through our 14.2 UL cable into the side here, and that part goes on the outside, and then the liquid flex line goes out on that side, and this tightens to the gang box. But I had a 3-inch gang box then, and I couldn't find all the parts that I needed for it, so I ended up going with the 1/2-inch gang box and the pop outs, and we ran a 1/2-inch PVC. So I don't need this, so we're going to run and take that back. And then the 3 gang work box here I can't use because I can't find the 3 gang cover box. The 3 gang cover that has 1 outlet and 2 light switches. So I don't have no need for them. I'm going to take that back. And the problem with this is I can't take this back because I busted out the end on it. But if I can find a cover to fit, because this cover does not fit, the bolts doesn't line up. So if True Value has the cover that mounts up to this, then I can leave that. If they don't have it, then I'll have to get another gang box, and that's all I would need is the right measurements for the gang box to fit that. But anyway, that's where my line is going to come. I'm going to nail it right here to the middle, come across here, and then drill a hole right down through here, and come down, drill a hole through here, and come in through the box on this side and get my light switch wired up. So let me just I'm gonna get my floodlight with the motion sensor in there and get it mounted up, and let me show you what I did. Very important piece, a 1/2-inch, well actually it's a 3/8 Romex cable that hold down parts. I think I put it over here. What did I do with it? Here it is. This is a Romex, 1/2-inch Romex cable tightener, and it goes into the back of any work box, whether it be a outdoor light, and you screw it in and that part locks it. But what I did, because I got enough room, I put it on the inside of my floodlight, so that way you don't see anything protruding out. So all I have to worry about is just that little tiny 3/8 hole that I drilled in there, and that's it. I'm going to put some putty up there, to cover that, or some clear sealant to just make sure it gets a tight seal back there. So what I'm going to end up using is duct seal, DUCT seal, and you just place this stuff around here, and once you get the box on, you just smush it on back, and it gives an airtight seal, keeps critters out and everything. So here's where having a receptacle comes in handy. Have to use my power tool, my drill, and we're going to drill through the stud right there and right there, because my light switch gang box is right there. So let me show you how well that duct seal actually works. If you can see where the hole comes through at, all that black stuff is the duct seal. When I pushed the light in and squished it to the back, it squished it inside, sealing the hole. That's why I like that duct seal. It's real good to use. So I got my Romex coming in through here. I got it stapled down, and you can use you can staple double wires with this. So I got one more staple to put there, but I got to drill that hole first so I can put the cord down through there, and then drill a hole down through there, and we'll be all set. We're gonna run the true value and swap out this box. So I got the wire doubled up, and I got it stapled. And you gotta have it stapled at least 6 inches from the box up top. We're gonna go ahead and staple it. And what I do is I run the wire behind the box and pull it out to about 6 to 8 inches. And my trusted hammer here, the rubber part, is 6 inches. So we measured that out already. We're gonna cut it off and leave it there. And we're gonna run and go swap out if we can find a cover for that. Or we gotta take the other ones back because we don't need them. And if we can find a cover that fits that, then we can just come back with that. Okay, it's time to shut power off to the shed. And it is the number 2. And we'll put some tape up. So now I have the cover on it, as you can see right here. So I got the light switch in, the cover up here. So I'm going to go and turn the power on and make sure we got everything connected right, and we'll be right back. So I found me a piece of copper wire, and so now I'm going to make a pigtail. All we do is we want to take and use our woggle switch, and this is pretty simple. You just plug it in until it snaps, and you see it into the end. It just snaps right in. Snaps right in it, and I'm pulling hard on this and it doesn't come out. The way to get these loose is you have to twist them like that and they can come loose. Other than that, they won't come loose. Now this is going to be my pigtail, so I'm going to slide that in, and it clicked, and I'm pulling and I can't get it loose. Okay, so that's going to be my pigtail. So we're going to make a shepherd's hook out of this, and you just grab it from the top and bend it nice and neat, and you want to get you a nice shepherd's hook here. Okay, so now we can go ahead and hook up the ground, and you want this shepherd hook to go clockwise, so when you tighten it, it will not loosen, but it will tighten it. I should have had all my tools ready to go. I gotta find my, here it is. Found my good wire cutter, Phillips screwdriver. Alrighty. So we'll connect our ground wire, and we always want to kind of help it along right there by squeezing it together. Then we take our screwdriver and we want to tighten it. And that's a good connection. So now we flip it over, and we can kind of push down on that, or up and then down. To kind of get this to go way in the back of the box. Get that ground to kind of get back there a little bit out of our way. Okay, now all we got to do is take and twist those two commons together on here, and we're going to use a nut because I don't have a 2-pin woggle, so we just tie these together here. And use a nut. And you could do it how you want. You could start a little twist on it with your pliers or just put them on there, whatever your preference is. And then just twist it. Keep twisting until you see the wires start to turn. You want the wires to turn just a few times. Now you know you're tight. So now we got that out of the way. So now we can get these wires out of the way here and get them ready. Okay, so now we can really push this copper back in its place. Do the same thing for the common. Get that back in the box. Okay, so now we got to find out, all right, this is coming from the light and that's coming from the power. So I got to make some shepherd's hooks. And we make our shepherd hook. Then we make another shepherd's hook. Now the one with the power, I like to put on the bottom. And then you want to kind of help it along here. Get that wire pinched together. There we go. And screw it in. Nice and tight. And our wires right there and right there, that's perfect. Now we do our last shepherd hook. Clockwise. Get it in there. Now we want to help it by squeezing it in together. I like to make sure that they're in there good. Okay, we got a good pinch on that. Now we want to tighten that. Pull that nice and straight. Tighten that up. And that's nice and tight. Everything is nice and tight. Now we can fold it back in place, just like we did everything else. And you want to push it back in there by hand. So we see we got a nice mate right there. So now we can plug the light socket in this cord, screw it in there. Okay, here's my little bag of tricks. So we get the top going in. I like to start them and then get the bottom to go in. And then we can sort of push them back and then make sure we center it when we screw it in there. I'm not using power tools today on this because we're only doing one. Because you're doing a whole lot of these. You know, it takes a minute or two to screw these things in here. Well, you don't need to see me screw it in. Okay, we got the power shut off and we're getting ready to unravel the copper wire, which is the ground. Okay, so this is our hot, this is our common. I can take these nut caps off. Okay, so I got my wire coming in from the light up there. Here's my light switch. We're gonna have to get that wired in. So I'm gonna have to use a pigtail for the ground. Now, on these Romexes, you wanna stick right to the middle of it, and you can cut right down the middle, just as long as you stay on that copper wire, and you can cut pretty deep. You'll feel a copper wire. Then what you do, you open the Romex up. This is 14.2 Romex, which means it has a copper, which is a ground, common, which is a white, and then it has a black, which is a hot. And then you just peel the Romex all the way back. You want to have at least 2 inches, not 2 inches, at least a ½ inch to 3/4 of the Romex wire that's left on it here. And the reason it's a little tough is because it's cold out. Other than that, it wouldn't be that tough to peel this back on any normal day. So that's about enough anyway. And then you want to peel the paper back as well, and always pull it away from it. And then you want to cut. I don't know where my cutters are. Well, let's see if we can get in there with our blade here and cut it away from the wires. Okay, so now we got that done. So now what we want to do, these two are going to go together. Well, not together. One's going to be on top, one's going to be on the bottom. So that's my power coming in, and that's it. So I got these are 14 gauge wire. So you want to splice it back about an inch. Not an inch, yeah, about an inch. You want to splice it back. Depends on what I'm doing. Now we're gonna do the copper, the common wire, which is the white. And I'm not using any special electrician's cutters or lineman's pliers. Nope, just standard automotive wire ignition terminal gauges is what I'm using. So now let's make sense of things. We always want to make sense of things. This is my light switch. These are my two commons. Now I'm gonna have to have a pigtail for the ground because you can't do two grounds together. So what I'm gonna do is cut some of this, and I'm going to use a 3-wire waggle switch. And what I'm going to do here, now I got to have those cutters. This is not my best set of wire cutters, but I'm gonna get an extra copper wire if I find one. I thought I had some, but I don't. But what I can do is, this is the one I'm going to use because it's already got the J hook in it. So as you can see, we have our motion sensor floodlight hanged up, and it's leveled and centered to the top. Later on tonight, I'll come out and make some more adjustments where I want the light to aim. But we've turned the power off to the shed. So now we're going to go in and we're going to hook up the light now. If I can open the door. Alright, I gotta get used to this. There we go. Now we're gonna set this flower pot to hold the door open so we can have light to see what we're doing. And we are going to power up this baby. First thing I want to do though is get my, you can see when I hit the light switch, no lights come on. So the next thing we want to do is get my circuit tester, plug it in. No lights. No lights. No lights. No lights. Now let's check it at the GFCI, because this is where the main power comes in at. So this circuit should be reading nothing as well. No lights. No lights. Okay. We definitely have no power to the shed. We always want to double check even though we know it's not. So now let's get my trusted cushion and we're gonna get this taken care of and get this light working. Okay, we got everything right. Switch is off, lights are off. Right up there. Now we'll hit the switch. We'll cover it up. Well, give it a minute here. You can see the lights are on. And when I cut the switch off, the light cuts off. But I got it set to stay on 3 minutes. So we'll leave it and we'll let them stay on. But that's how you wire it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the cover plate on because I know everything is right. And thanks for watching. Rev It Up Mustang Fanatic Home Edition, sprucing up the home. We got all our switches in place except for one receptacle. We want to get this outdoor GFCI mounted outside on that side. We're going to come in through this plug in to do that. All right, God bless. We'll talk to you guys. It's probably 20 minutes, 10-15 minutes before sunset, but I'm in my screened in porch. I just came out of my door and the light came on over the shed. You can see it right there. Wow. Just got to adjust it when it gets a little bit darker where I want it to go.